Hello, everyone. Welcome here. Today, we are going to play some Timberborn. Once it loads up anyway. Last time, we had succeeded in getting our water situation not necessarily solved, but at least resolved. Or in a situation where it will be resolved going forward. We're currently in the middle of a drought, so obviously it's not solved right now, but yeah. Basically, we have managed to cut off every source of bad water except bad tides that can reach us. And we are building a reservoir that's getting close to done. And even when the reservoir is not available, we do still have some guaranteed clean source that will flow when there's not a drought. So really all we need to do at this point is finish this reservoir, and then we need to protect the reservoir from bad tides, which we will need to do by building a diversion channel for the bad water. That will happen after the dam's done, though. But anyway, for now, let's kick the speed up a little bit, get those beavers moving. We've got food. Once the power comes back on, our food source should improve significantly. And then hopefully there won't be any starving beavers or dehydrated beavers or anything of that sort. Anyway. Hello, survey. Welcome here. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any haulers at the moment. That's not great, but not a problem either. Yeah, the dam's almost done. Too far from district. Oh yeah, it's because they need to build this stair. And they can't build that stair until they get some planks. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I need to think about what we're going to do about this. So basically, the water level is going to be... This is going to fill with water when the dam is operational. Which is fine. This channel here should actually fill as well. I think. Yeah. Which means we probably want to dam this off. To prevent that. Was there some reason why I wanted to do that? Other than wherever this end might possibly end up going? I don't think there's any explosions that'll open this up. So I don't think there's any reason why we can't just let that channel fill. Except that it would be significant surface. Significant surface area that would increase evaporation. But anyway. So I might want to dam that off, but it's not important to do now. Okay. We should have enough water to keep everybody going, no problem for the last 0.1 of a day. Should be a little bit more than that before this channel fully fills. Yeah. This whole valley should flood way over to here. So it should be a fairly sizable reservoir. But that's not until this dam finishes. Yeah, for now, this little area should fill, and then it'll flood out through here. And that should start refilling the main reservoir here, hopefully before everything dies. Alright, so bad tide planning. Where do I want to flow the bad tides? It needs to be somewhere we can get rid of it quickly so we can flush it out. Which means ideally we wouldn't have the reservoir here, we would have the reservoir dam over down here farther. And that way we could just let it flow out. But this is just way too convenient of a place to put a dam. So probably what I should do is blow out a channel over here and put it in the second dam. That way I can flow the bad tides out that way. In the alternative, I could blow it out through here and let it flow into this channel and then out through here through these tunnels. Everybody's complaining about food again. Okay, well, this is about to start turning. Good. The fermenter should start working. That'll get food going. Okay. Yeah. We definitely need more than one fermenter running. Food situation's not so great. But that's what this fermenter is supposed to solve for us. Why has it stopped turning? That's not online. Okay, this is finally running again. Good. Until we get the main water wheel up here running, which is going to be a massive source of power for us, by the way. This is already producing immense amounts of power. This little one down here is barely functional. Yeah, we need to put storage in for this stuff, and oh well. Bad type mitigation is probably one of the most important things we can do right now. So, I think what I want to do yeah. That'll work. And then we put in levees. Like that. And then floodgates like so. And that should let us to flush anything out to this area, where it will then flow out that way and off the map eventually. This is not a very fast flowing water source, that's for sure. Okay. And of course we need to get beavers over there to actually do anything useful. Actually, let's remove that. Okay. Now, eventually we'll put some platforms there so you can get to the other side of that, and yeah, anyway. We had a whole bunch of beaver starvation. There's an unstable core about to blow. I believe this one won't be a problem for us. Yeah, okay. No, this will irrevocably pollute our old water source. But that doesn't matter. Because that water source is disconnected from our base. Okay. Why are you bastards not making more food faster? I need to get this power source online yesterday, preferably. I need planks very badly. Alright. Gonna turn off the gear workshop. How many explosives do I have in stock? Enough. We're gonna turn off the explosives factory for the time being. And the metalsmith is fine, so we're gonna turn that off too. That should get things improved a little bit. Okay. They do have some food in stock. Beavers are eating it, which is good. Alright. We need to build some storage to store that stuff. Also, kohlrabi harvest is happening, so we've got some food for there too. Alright. We should be fine. We're out of berries because, of course, we are. No, we're not. We just haven't delivered any. Okay. Yeah. When that core explodes, it will create a problem, but luckily not a problem for us, I don't think. Unless, actually... Okay, where is the connection that's going to make? Right way back here. So it depends on how vigorously it's flowing that out and how much it pollutes the area. It might be enough to reach up through the ground and pollute stuff. We won't have to deal with direct contact with the bad water polluted water stream though. It might result in some crops dying or something because of being close to the pollution. But I don't think so. I think we'll have enough vertical separation, we should be okay. And with the constant water flow, it should keep it from actually being polluted. Alright. Anyway. How much power are we using here? It's not great, that's for sure. We're still, even with just these two buildings, we're still underpowered. I am going to go ahead and order the destruction of those two so we can add more fermenters. The word should was doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Yeah, we should be fine. Okay. Where are all my planks? Mark this as high priority. We currently only have one builder available. But that's fine, I suppose. Yeah. So we're going to end up with quite a large little cavern there. Boom. And the end result is this is polluted probably forever. Until we can get down there and seal this back off, which is not going to happen for a good long time. Okay. It is going to kill some or most of our mangroves. Darn. Yeah, you can see the spread there. It doesn't seem to be affecting anything on the level above that, though. So, other than losing our mangrove, which is unfortunate, but not that big of a deal. It would obviously be a very good thing if I could still have mangroves, but one level above that is protected, so our actual crops are fine. Okay, one level above that is mostly protected. Okay, if it rises any higher in here, like occasionally it washes up a little bit higher, then we start losing along the edges here, which is bad because it's going to kill off this edge of the trees. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so we really need to lower the water level in there, and there's no good way to do that, so we'll just have to live with not having this strip of trees right there, I suppose. And this little bit over here of whatever I call it. Alright. Well, that's definitely not ideal, but it's also not that big of a deal either. These trees over here don't matter. I kind of wanted to remove them a long time ago anyway. We just haven't gotten around to it. Alright. We've got food once again. I don't think I need to build another fermenter just yet. This one's keeping up. I'm not sure what the actual... Okay, it processes 4 every 2 hours, but I'm not sure what the actual production rate is. Anyway. I need to get more storages going. Oh, fun. A bad tide. Okay. This is going to be a massive issue. How am I going to solve this problem? We can't just open these floodgates and let it go. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. Because I don't want to lose all my crops here and stuff. But we're going to lose them anyway to... what do you want to call it? To drought. But at least we can preserve them for a little while and not lose the trees. We are going to lose power, though. That's a bigger problem. Okay. So this stuff's almost done, which is good. Or it's just going to take a while to get this built. So we're not going to have a reliable source of power for a while. And this power is going to shut off because we're not going to be letting water through this anymore. I kind of wish I'd replace these dams with floodgates at some point, but I don't have the beaver power to do that at the moment. Okay, those are completely closed. Yeah, we can't hold water at the top of this because that isn't built yet. So we can't try to back up as much in this reservoir as we can. Even if we had this whole thing as a reservoir, we'd have to drain it all because the bad tide control area isn't done yet. Well, more correctly, it isn't started yet. Okay. Goodbye, little slug of water I'd like to have. But it's much more important to make sure we don't pollute our main reservoir here. Which is not going to last for all that long. It's not very deep here. Yeah, we still have power available. It's just not... The shafting to use it isn't built yet. So we have 3.5 days. Yeah, we got plenty of water to last that long. We might lose some crops, but yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the replanting orders for this area. Yeah. With no source of planks, our construction is ground to a halt. I could set up a manual power wheel, but we don't really have the beaver power at the moment to do that and everything else we want to do, even not even close. Eventually. But anyway, we got about 2 more days of bad tide, and then after that it's going to take a little while to flush this all out. And then once it's flushed, we can close up the floodgates and start running water back into here. Yeah, it looks like we'll be able to continue harvesting crops and stuff for most of that time. Then it'll take like another day or so to get power back online. Probably. Is this bad tide thing basically somebody dumping the local sewer into the river because it looks like shit? Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, but periodically your water sources start generating this pollution chemical bullshit. Whatever it is, it's useful though, because if we pump it up, we can use it to make explosives and other cool things. Well, it's not all bad. Wait, why do we have contamination up there? There's little threads of contamination in weird places. It's got to be something underneath the ground. Okay. It's right along the edges of the underground river there. It must be because of the higher concentration due to there being no water mixed in with the crap. Anyway, it doesn't really matter if those die. I mean, obviously it's not good, but it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, bad tide's over. Let's watch all this clean itself up. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill this little bit here. Okay. Yeah, we never did actually lose water in here, which is good. And yeah, now you can see that the contamination here is receded. Now that there's some water mixing into the gunk. Okay, that should kick the power on soon. Okay. With power running again, we once more have planks being made. with power running again, we once more have planks being made. Which is very good. Because that'll get us food storage and access to the power shafting up here. Which power shaft is cheap and easy to build. It's just that we need this platform right here built so they can get over to this bit. And then this bit over here needs some more extensive platforms built. Yeah. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon because we have 0 construction workers hired. We have literally exactly enough beavers to have every single job staffed except construction and hauling. Okay, now we have 1 construction worker. Good. Things can start getting done finally. Not that it's going to happen all that quickly, but not with 1 singular beaver working on it. Oh. Anyway. So I wonder if there's any other sources of water available that I can get. I don't know if this map has any aquifers or anything. There's definitely that 1 underground water source, and I think there's at least another underground water seep somewhere. I think this one's supplied. By an underground water seep. It's coming in way over here. Oh no, there's actual underground water sources over there. Okay. So I could drill down to that and have water boiling up over there to run wherever I needed it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Doesn't really matter what's going on over there. And now we're down to no more construction workers. That platform is very nearly completed, not that it really matters. Probably should add another breeding pod. Yeah, I don't know. For now, I'll not worry about it. Oh. If I didn't need every tiny little bit of water I could flowing out here, I'd be tempted to open these floodgates just a little tiny bit and let the main water source drain down the middle in order to hopefully flush it out faster and pull back some of the surface contamination. But I need this power right now. Later, when the big wheel up here is supplying everything we need, that will no longer be a concern, but yeah. So much later in the game, we'll get this bad water discharge. And if we can get that built on top of bad water sources, which there's one over here, for example. If we can get a bad water discharge built on top of that, we can forcibly open the bad water discharge, and it will cause bad water flow even during droughts. Which might seem like a bad thing on the surface. Like, you don't generally want bad water flowing somewhere. However, bad water is a fluid, and fluids can turn water wheels. So that would basically ensure that we have year-round constant power. If we could get that particular bad water source capped with a bad water discharge. And also we'd be able to turn it off anytime we wanted as well. So ultimately our objective for the longer term is to cap as many bad water sources with those things as we can, so that we can turn off all the ones we don't want, for example this one, and turn on all the ones we do want. For example, the one over here, wherever it is, right there. So that we can have a mix of infinite power and fill most of the underground tunnels completely full of pure water. Ideally, fill them up to the point where they will bubble out everywhere and fill all these surface channels too. But anyway. Not sure how realistic that possibility is just yet. We are getting some of these power shafts built finally. So that's good news. Like we've got 2 or 3 constructors working. Yeah, 3. So things are getting built. We do finally have a cassava? I'm not sure that's pronounced. Anyway. Cassava, maybe. Anyway. We have a warehouse for more food, which is of some importance. Although really we need more food production yet than what we already have. Or rather, we need more storage for food production. Okay. You can hold kohlrabi. And build that now, please. Drought approaching. Okay. This shouldn't be much of an issue. It will disable our power production, but unfortunately we don't have any water storages because our various water control dams are not built yet. Oh, wait. We have power! Infinite power! They built it while I wasn't looking. Hell yeah. Well, it's not actually infinite, but we're producing 900 horsepower now. It's still going to shut off during the drought, but at least we have power whenever it's not a drought now. Which means we can probably go ahead and unpause some of these if we need to. Just we currently don't need to. I need them to work on this dam is what I need them to work on. Those two levees need to be built immediately. And the rest can be built as needed. Okay, we've got plenty of water stored. We've got a good amount of food stored. Alright, I think we'll be fine. I need to build a better farming district somewhere. And the only way I'm going to do that is by irrigating a large area. It would be nice if I could pump these channels full of water and let them cascade back in through this channel maybe. So I'll block that channel off and then pump in up here or into here somewhere so it just flows into all of those. That should green up most of this area, if not the whole thing. To do that though, we would need to do some extra work to this area. Namely, we would need to dig a channel from here to there so we could fill this, but yeah. Not going to happen anytime soon. I do not have the technology to do that. We could not quite build the centrifuge yet. We don't have some of the materials we need. I need to build a smelter first. Which we do have the power to run a smelter. We do have the science to be able to afford unlocking it. We just don't have the free beaver labor to make it worth doing. Okay, drought started. This is all going to dry up instantly because the control top there is not available. We've got 6.8 days of drought. It's definitely the longest one so far, which means this is going to definitely dry up. But there's not anything we can do about it, so we'll just have to live with it. The crops are definitely going to die. The good news is this is the last drought where we won't have the flood control dam available. And that means actually this old dam here is now just become obsolete. Which means I can rip this dam out and this dam out and use its materials for whatever I feel like using them for. Yeah, see, we got beavers running over there to grab materials, haul away. That is perfectly fine. Now, what all do we have beavers working on at the moment? As far as construction goes. I think the next thing they really need to be working on is the bad water situation over there. Yeah. And this needs to be built with some fairly high importance as well. I don't know if I want to remove this dam. Because this dam can prevent bad water from backwashing up the stream and into here. Or at least it can split the... Obviously it won't split the whole reservoir when the reservoir is full. That's what this over here is supposed to be doing. I think we have enough explosives. I won't need to unpause this explosive factory just yet. That's logs, so it's not really important. Ones that still contain planks are definitely important to haul, though. Okay. Alright. This is built. The dam is completed now. So when the drought's over, we'll be able to flood this whole valley to whatever height we desire. The only thing we have left to worry about is bad tides, and that's what this is going to resolve. So that's new top priority, is to get that built. Once this is built, once this new channel is dynamited, then we should be able to spill bad tides out that direction. Okay. Floodgates, 2 there. Platforms, 2 there. Path, boom. Okay. So these are important. The rest of it not so much. Okay. So these floodgates should hopefully never have to open. They're there only for emergencies. If I must drain the whole reservoir, that is a place I can do it from. But ultimately, their intended purpose is just hopefully I never have to use them, kind of thing. These floodgates will control water inlet, whether it goes to the bypass or to the reservoir. And then these are the actual exit floodgates. You won't be able to fully drain the reservoir from here because it's deeper on the other end. But this is going to drain it into where it actually goes. So this isn't a very good reservoir, but it's a largish one that will last us for hopefully most droughts. It's definitely not a forever solution or anything like that. We'll want to build a better reservoir eventually, I assume. It is merely a good enough solution. Anyway. Our crops are all dying, that's expected. Actually, they're not even all dying. It's just mostly dying. But we only have half a day left. And we have plenty of stored food still. So that's not a problem. Yeah, currently the floodgates are set low. It's mostly because I don't want to wait for the whole reservoir to fill before we start receiving water back over here. But once this is full of water, we're going to start raising these gates slowly to fill the reservoir. Because we no longer need to have outflow, because these water wheels don't matter. They're kind of just for looks nowadays. Because this one here that's going to be turned by the bad tide is all that really matters. Okay. Yeah, see the river's filling up. It's going to start overtopping the floodgate here in a second. There we go. That'll fill this little bit here. So that's looking awfully blue down there. Yeah, okay. The bad tide just hadn't made its way over there yet. Alright, well, it was too much to hope for that it was running differently for some reason. Let's start raising the water level in here. We are going to lose some crops here to contamination, but that's not fine, but not particularly avoidable either. Okay, we're starting to get this flooded. Let's remove those levees. They no longer have a reason to exist. Same with those levees. Let's order those planks to be hauled out of there. Okay. This is almost done. So that's good. Can't get all retired. Really? I thought for sure I had enough materials. Well, I guess we'll start up explosive production again. Yeah, if we have to open this in emergency, we can, but right now it doesn't matter, so. Okay, we've got water overtopping this again. Let's go ahead and raise the dam a little more. And yeah, we are filling this up over here. There's no real reason to disable that except to reduce evaporation, and I don't think we need to worry about that. Meanwhile, it makes a large segment of the map nice and green. This valley back here might actually be a good candidate for a water reservoir, because we could put fill valves or some of some sort here to control. Well, we'd have to get enough water pressure to fill this up from somewhere. You'd probably have to pump water in. Like, we could pump water in, that's not too big of a deal. If we had the mechanical power over here to do so anyway. And then we would just build a dam over here in this gap, where there already exists a bit of a normal, or an existing blockage. And I believe if we pumped enough water into here, it would rise up to this level and fill that up. But like, that would be pretty high. We'd have to build a pretty sizable dam. Probably in this gap as well. Yeah. It's like that height. We just have to build up to here to even get it to come up to the base of that. It could be done, but it's not very realistic. Okay, this is done. Eventually we'll have to hook these to sensors so that we can enable and disable the entrances depending on whether it's bad tide or not. Let's see. Automation. Contamination sensor, there we go. We need some actual metal. Oh, there's another unstable core. There we go. I'm pretty sure this is nothing. Okay. This is going to connect that bad water to the existing water channel, which is already contaminated. I don't think that's going to create any problems for us. Yeah. I don't think that'll create any problems for us. It could maybe cause enough backflow into here that it wants to flow higher in this hole, but I don't think it will. I don't think it can. Okay, meanwhile, that can be detonated. Alright, we should be safe from bad tides now. We have a bit of a reservoir. It's not a great one, but it's a reservoir for what do you call it? Alright, now we just need a more reliable source of food. Like our current source, not bad, but we could definitely do better. And we need more planks and all that fun stuff. Actually, we have a good amount of planks in storage now. It looks like we're mostly past the immediate plank problems. How goes the construction out here? It goes. Alright. Okay. It's going to be hard to get to that to build it. These should all be reachable from the ground, I believe. If I put a double platform right there... that should be able to help them solve the problem. We can just remove that later, no problem. We don't actually need this built, but it'll be helpful someday, so... Okay, with that built, they can reach that. Okay, good deal. Okay. Okay. Now. Next, priority beaver engineering project. Getting us out of this little basin is probably of some importance. Should probably start thinking about building a new district somewhere that is going to be all around safer. Okay, what we need to do, first of all, is watch this blow up. Boom. That flows more into there. Okay. That is creating a bit of a problem here. Alright, lower those floodgates. We need to get the contamination out of here. Bad tide approaching. It's not good, but it's not dire emergency either. Okay. I don't have an easy way to get guys back there, actually. Okay, change of plan. I want to put floodgates in here. We're going to put them right there. Currently, I want the floodgates at 0. Very high priority. Okay, next things next. Demolish those. That should let us flow stuff out of here faster. Solve some of the contamination problems. Now, probably more importantly, I want to put another ring of levees on top of this. And I want to put in triple floodgates. Okay. Now, I want the floodgates down at the bottom for now. Very high priority. Make that level high priority. Okay. Well, there goes a whole ton of our oak trees. Well, that's fine. It'll be solved in a day or two. Got some contaminated beavers, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that right now. Once they finish building these floodgates, on the other hand, okay. Go ahead and fill that up a little bit so it stops flowing out. Once we get the next layer in place, which we have now, we can go ahead and block that off and it will stop filling up here. Now, we're about to have bad tide, so let's close that, open this, which is a bad time for this in many ways. I really need to drain this whole area, and then we can refill it from the reservoir. It looks like our bad tide diversion channel is working, although I could definitely use some improvements. I really want to flush this out, but I don't quite dare. Also, I don't like how full the water level is in there. Definitely need to put some irrigation barriers or something around it, probably. Yeah. Doesn't seem to actually be creating a problem over here, so. This is backflowing a little bit. Let's go ahead and let some of this water out. Oops. Let out a little too much. Okay. Let out a little more water. Got about 2 days left before the bad tide's over, so I don't mind using some reservoir water. Ideally, I want to fill the lower area as much as I can. And then I open the lower floodgates all the way and just let it all drain out. And hopefully that will remove most of the contamination. At least that's the idea. That is the idea. It's not going to fully work because this area down here is not a lower level. It's all level from here to there. So it can only drain so much, but... And also we do have to be careful not to let too much through. Or it will backflow contaminants. Alright, let this finish flushing out. Boom, close that. Open this. Start refilling the reservoir just as it reaches a state of nearly emptiness. We've gotten most of the contamination out of the main reservoir here, which is good. Let's go ahead and build some decontamination pods. Where can I even put these so they're out of the way? Yeah, one problem is I don't really have a great spot that has access to power. Kind of built ourselves into a corner here. Oh, I can't build these because I don't have a smelter yet. I really need to get the smelter going. We need to get this farm out of here and move it elsewhere. To that end, how much does the normal fluid pump cost? Mechanical fluid pump requires a bunch of resources we don't currently have yet, and 700 horsepower, which we do kind of have the 700 horsepower. Okay. We can't pump water up to this level, which is what I'd like to do. It's not a reasonable thing to do right now. Alright, let's go ahead and refill the reservoir. Wait, they can't build that from the ground? Okay. Well, that's a solvable problem. Yeah. There. Okay, anyway. Better farming areas. Where can I get some better farming areas? I really need to start a second district. And I guess if I start a second district, I can build it over here. And then we have a nice green plain over here and over here we can use. That just needs some logs cleared off of it. So, we already have a connecting path. It's not a very efficient connecting path, mind you. We can do some quick work here to straighten that route out a little bit, make it shorter. But yeah, we can build this into a district without too much trouble. Boom. Let's remove that natural dam as well. Nobody cares about that. All right, what do we need to get a district built? A district needs food, obviously, housing, a district center, the food part can be accomplished by putting a warehouse out here. Or two. And assigning them to various food products. Okay. Now. That'll work. Housing. Yeah. I think we'll go with grow houses are very efficient. They're also maybe a bit expensive. Yeah, sure. We'll build some basic row houses there. And then well-being, we of course want a rooftop terrace. Which distressingly cannot be built on the ground, which is usually a bit of a problem. Because usually you want to place them someplace where they would go best on the ground. However, we can just do that for a rooftop terrace. And that'll work. And then the other thing I want to build, of course, is a campfire. Boom, one can go right there. Let's see. Probably leave it like that for now. Yeah, once they get rid of that blockage, we can finish extending the road and then we'll set this to obtain. Set that to obtain. Boom. Okay. Then the district gate will go somewhere. Yeah. I should probably put it right over here on this hill. But also I could put it over here to be more convenient in some ways. No, it's gotta be over in this hill. But we're not putting it in now until all this is built. Because I don't want the beavers moving into here to not have basic amenities. Oh, another thing we definitely are going to need is a storage tank. For storing water. Okay. Bad tide approaching. It's okay, we've got a solution to those. Yeah. This contamination problem is annoying. Nothing much we can do about it though. Except move our growing operations out of there. It is, after all, the eventual mission here. Let's remove some old unnecessary paths. Let's turn off those row houses. I don't want beavers living there right now. Not quite yet. It's too far away from the center of everything, and so it'll be inconvenient. Now, exactly how many beavers am I going to want out here? I think we're going to do as much food production in this area as we can. But also that means we need to get this hooked up to the power network. Which means we need to get this power shaft over to here somewhere. Okay. Thankfully, power shafting is cheap. Okay. Boom. We've got power shafting over there. Nice, easy parallel line here. Boom. You close. You open. There we go. We got a little tiny bit of contamination in the reservoir, but it won't matter. It will not matter at all. All right. Let me see. I could. Actually, better would be to run from there. Like that. Okay. Now, That should work. Some small changes need to be made here. There we go. Okay. These need to be made at a slightly higher priority because they're currently disconnecting the main base. Okay. Also, I'm going to put a platform right there so I can run a little bypass so I don't have to go way out around every time to get to stuff. Oh, of course. Oh, the gear plant isn't running, that's why. Oh, uh-oh. I'm out of gears, and I disconnected. Okay. Well, we gotta wait till after the bad tide, I guess. I forgot I turned off the gear plant. I need that for vertical. Yeah, well. They'll finish the rest of everything they can build before then. It is very unfortunate that that's disconnected, though. Very unfortunate that is disconnected. Yeah, we're gonna build some temporary scaffolding to get their ass up there to build that. Unfortunate, but unavoidable. Born in timber, how does that work? I don't know, you have to ask them, they're beavers. The kohlrabi stockpiles are being drained alarmingly. Oh, that's because they're moving them over to the new area. Okay. Not actually a problem. Not a good thing. But it shouldn't actually be a problem. It's merely a short-term shift in supply. Okay. Now, About half a day to the bad tide's over, and we can start running the emergency generators again. And that should get us enough gears to get things reconnected, I think. Yeah. We only need 3 to turn the power back on. Okay, bad tide's over. That's cleared out already. Seal that. Open this. We didn't drain the reservoir this time at all, so we don't need to change any other floodgate settings. We just need to wait a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we got a couple gears made. Not until water for the reservoir comes in. Ugh. I don't think we need that. Yeah, no, we don't. Okay. Unfortunately, now beavers are coming over here for food. Which is unfortunate. Gonna go ahead and... I can't turn that off. Okay. We're almost ready to disconnect this district. Or at least we would be if it wasn't for food problems again. Partially caused by power problems. Caused by water problems. Well, are you gonna fill? There we go, finally. I need to remove these dams and replace them with a other set of floodgates. Okay. Well, this will fill up and start turning the water wheels at any moment now. Any year now. Any year now. We're getting a little bit of water overflowing. Okay, there we go, finally. Gear workshop. No. Don't stop flowing, damn it. There we go. I need 3 gears out of this. Once we get 3 gears, we can reconnect to the big power source. And all will be well again. Speaking of the big power source... we're almost ready to add the second wheel to it. One more dynamite. Ooh, both of these are going to go. Did that connect to anything important? I don't think it does. Or rather, I think it was really easy to protect against that connecting to anything important. Yeah, it does connect back over to that water source, but not an issue. I can just put a couple levees right here, if I remember correctly, and it solves it completely. That's more levees than I actually need. But that's fine. Couple of levees. These explosions won't do anything. There will, I believe... It will make another exit, actually, for that contaminated water. So... hopefully it doesn't just bubble up all over down here, but also it won't really matter if it does. We can just delete a couple levees and let it flow out through here. It shouldn't affect any of our stuff. Also, can you lazy bastards make a gear? I just need 3 of the damn things. There, turn the damn wheels. Okay, we've got 1 gear. I might need to put in an emergency bypass. All right. Yeah, the food situation's dire again. Okay, that's unreachable. Will just a simple set of stairs be enough to make it reachable enough to work on? Good question. I don't know. Yes, it will. Okay. Build that right now. Yeah. All right. Well. Hopefully we don't lose everybody to starvation again. We're not going to lose everybody to starvation by any means, but we'll lose some. Again. Power's back on, so that's a big plus. Which means we can run the fermenter full time. Which will help with our food problems. Wait, what? Okay, we gotta put some emergency pads in to get them over here to work on this. Okay, this can be lower priority. We need exactly one more levee in before these blow. So that's gotta be done now. But aside from that, I think that this is largely going to be fine. Okay. Okay. Once we get the new district going, that'll solve a lot of our problems. I think. Um... Let's see. That'll be good enough for now. Gonna go ahead and pause all of these because we don't actually want people working over here yet. And then I am going to order crops planted. Yeah, I really need to get a second fermenter going. Alright, that's what this up here is for. We're going to build more fermenters over there. What are the recipes available for the fermenter? Here. Let's build ourselves a fermenter. I don't want to build these. Something like that. And then for storages, we're going to have to use medium warehouses because we don't have the capabilities to build the large ones yet. Actually, this is going to be really annoying to deal with. Yeah, no, we're not doing it that way. Okay. Here, actually, let's do it this way. Wait a second. Okay. And then path through the middle to there. Stairs there and there. Boom, boom. And then over here, we do vertical power shafts, standard power shafts. Boom, like that. Okay. All right. And these can be the basic warehouses to supply directly to these. Food sources. Soybeans plus oil. Okay. So you, I want to be plain old kibasa. You, I want to be the fermented stuff. Boom. Boom. Okay. And someday we might convert some of those over to soybeans or something, but not right now. Okay, that does tell us what we want to plant, though. Okay, that's not actually useful. Boom. Boom. Okay. That should supply plenty of food over here. Okay. Yeah. We've got enough worker housing and such like to supply the farmers working in this area. Okay. Okay. We are going to need to build some... Okay. We don't actually want to pause the construction there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's just wait for this to get completed. Wait for these to get completed. And then we're going to need to have at least one water pump over here. Ideally, it'd be over here to pump out of the deepest section. But I don't think that matters. This is perfectly fine. I don't remember how many water pumps or how many beavers one water pump will supply. Okay, they can't reach that to build it. It's unfortunate. Any easy solutions immediately at hand? Not really. I have to do something like that to get them over there up to this bit. Okay, we got a drought coming in. Drought should not be a problem, except it will cut off our power again. Yeah. Drought would actually be a good thing in that we could cap this if I had the stuff available to do so. I currently do not. So there will be no capping that just right away. I don't want people working out here. Need to keep an eye on this stuff so I can shut off. Okay, like you, I don't want people staying there. So how about you don't? Gonna have to build some temporary scaffolding here as well. Get people up there and build that roof. Okay. If it wasn't for this mess over here that needs to get built, which is going to take a while. I would be tempted to turn this district on. Go ahead and connect that up. I could build a gate along here so we could split this without having to delete the path, but I don't think it's important. Yeah, no. Tubeways would be ideal. Kind of expensive to build though. Okay, drought started. There's not much we can do about it right now. We're just not going to have power for 8 days. Which is unfortunate, but not something we can do anything about. We are going to have to plant some berries over here. Where should I put them? There's something to be said for putting the berries on the other side of the river. Yeah. We'll stick a forester over there. Boom. And then... go ahead and plant that whole area to berries. Except where we run the paths through. And then way back in there, we can put a gatherer flag. Or 2. For berry collection. Okay. Additionally, put that in there and we can plant some mangroves in the bottom. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Then somewhere around here we'll want to put in some gathering flags for those mangroves. For a mangrove? Just one is probably enough. I might put a second one in later, but for now one's enough. Okay. Obviously we'll want some storages for that. Let me think. We'll leave that alone for now. Storage, another medium warehouse. Boom. Okay, you are going to hold mangrove fruits. And you are going to hold berries. We already have a berry storage over here, but I'll probably convert it to something else later. Okay. Okay. Now, a little change we do want to make. I want to put some floodgates across here. Because we're going to want to be able to shut off water in and out of here. Specifically, normally they're just going to be left at their default 0.65 height to let water flow in, but not flow back out if the reservoir empties. But this will allow us to shut off water to this area in case of contamination, or to hold water in if we're draining the reservoir. Things like that. It's just an all-around good idea. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and release some water here. That way we won't lose our crops. Okay. It'll take a little while yet before this is done building, but once we have our food processing center up here, once we have the remainder of the power infrastructure built, then it'll be time to split this off from the rest of everything. In fact, there's an argument to be made that we should split it off now already. Well, not really. Not until we actually have decent supplies of food here. We're still short on food. Like, we're not actually short on food. We just don't have enough of a surplus that I can spread it around, really. We better do another water release. So that these crops don't die. They're too important to our survival. I did let a little run out over there, which is unfortunate, but oh well. It's another reason why we need to get this done over here, is that dry season water releases aren't a problem. Also, this reservoir is not going to help this settlement, because it is not downstream of it. Or, you know, upstream of it or whatever. It's not deep enough to help this settlement out. Which ultimately isn't that big of a problem. It does mean that during long dry seasons we'll probably lose crops over here. But yeah. Okay, drought's over. Well, technically the drought's over. The reality is, of course, that this water seep is not a very good source of water. Yeah. I think... Oh, does the other faction get a thing that they can use to make... I don't remember if the other faction gets a thing they can use to get water out of a stone effectively. There is a way to get water out of a aquifer by building and powering a special building. I thought this faction got access to it as well, but I don't see it in the list of stuff. There's two different beaver factions. So it might be a thing that only the other faction gets. They used to get some special irrigation tower thing that lets you irrigate areas easily, except it was absolute trash and didn't work properly. Yeah, so aquifers might be a thing that only the other faction can do. Just like the bad water discharge, the thing that only this faction can do. Which is fine. But anyway, this seep is not a very good water source. We need to get a better water source. And to do that... I think I'm going to want to go for... over here. We could dig down somewhere over here, channel that water into... somewhere useful. Like, we could seal this and stop outflow over here. And then that would back the water up. Enough to make it outflow. Here. Which would cause it to flow off the map there and here without other further intervention. Then we could seal that, dig a tunnel through, and have it flow out over here. We could put in a reservoir of sorts. But to do that, we'd have to cap this bit first. Also, we have clean water running out over here, which I'd like to stop. Okay, it's not clean water, it's contaminated. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Yeah, we'll have to solve the better source of water problem eventually. Probably what I could do is build over to here and build a staircase down that hole. And then send beavers down that staircase. And have them build dams down there in various spots. Okay, where's that go? That's just another drain hole. Like, I could cap this off and that off and force it to come out here. Probably without too much effort. Okay. Things are getting done over here. TM. Okay, that's done, thankfully. That's all reporting reachable, that's good. Okay. Yeah. So where am I going to put the district center over here? Probably over on this side. Like right there. It's not going to allow us to build it there because we need a district crossing between them, but we can do that easily enough. District crossing is going to go right over here somewhere-ish. Probably right there. Okay. We're almost ready to turn this district on. This stuff over here can be built by the local builders. Speaking of which, I should put in some industrial piles. I don't want to put them down here on the good plains. Although that would be prime real estate for building them. No, I don't want to put them there either. Okay, you are plank storage, and you are log storage. Actually, upon second thought, I don't want to put that right there. I want to put it back just a bit. In such a way that I can easily get over to the roof of this one and build a second storage on top of it later. Okay. Set these to obtain. Alright. You're paused. The first of the fermenters is in place. Let's have them build the power connections next. Those are more important than basically anything else to do with these. Speaking of which, you need to be built as well. Okay. Drought. Fun. Drought means total power cut off. Which is an issue. For sure. All right. Thankfully, aside from the power loss, we won't have any serious issues with the drought. Well, at least not in theory. Yeah, we need to get the beaver population up some, but also got to balance it a little bit. Because while I do need increased beaver population, I also need increased beaver food supply. And that's what this is supplying. So what I really need to do is I need to get the new district finished enough that I can move like 3 or 4 beavers over. Probably about that many. They should have enough water on hand already. And just have them plant and harvest. Well, bring 1 beaver over to run the fermenter. Bring like 4 beavers over to run a couple farmhouses. Have them plant the whole field. And then as soon as they can start harvesting, which there is some stuff already stored, so we don't need to do that immediately. We can start a beaver making local food. And once local food's online, then we need to bring another beaver or two over to get local water going. And then we just need berry deliveries so that we can run breeding pods, and then we'll have local beaver population self-sustaining. That's the idea anyway. Okay, drought's about to hit. And of course, once we get enough beavers over here to run the gather flags and the forester, then that'll take care of any problems we might ever have with not enough berries and that kind of stuff. Probably 2 breeding pods would be plenty for a little thing like this. Not entirely sure where I'll put them. I want to put them somewhere out of the way, but not too out of the way. Probably right over there is fine, I guess. Might as well get those working before we start moving people in. Pretty much as soon as the drought's over, I want to move people in. Because we do have the bare minimum required to run this setup. The power is hooked up. Water is available. Food. There is some food in stock. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Disable that fermenter. Alright, this place is ready to run, I believe. We need local builders to work on things. Let's get those storages up and running. Let's get these breeding pods running. Okay. Now, we have 1.7 days left. Oh wait, I do need this water pump up and running. Finish that, please. Thank you. And the district gate should be finished eventually. Okay, once the water pump's done, the plank storage done, and the district gate done, we're ready to turn this on. And we still have 0.8 days to the end of the drought. Looks like we're doing fine TM on water. We probably won't need to flow any out of the reservoir. Okay. Okay. Okay, district crossing's almost finished building. The pump is finished building. I am going to go ahead and cut the path. Which we're going to do right there. Suddenly everything's complaining it's not connected to district. Yeah, well, about that. Boom, now you are. Okay, migrate population, District 2, minimum. 3 beavers. On pause you. You're a medium priority job. You're a high priority job. On pause you. You're just a normal priority job. Unpause the row houses. Okay. Okay. Got a whole bunch of jobs here. Let's see. We have 13 jobs, space for, or 11 available jobs, space for 16 population. Once this turns on, we're going to have another 4 jobs. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, once the drought's over, this will all kick on. And speaking of which, there it goes. Okay. So I required 3 people to move here. But we need, 5 or 6 at least to run the place. 3 is the bare minimum. One to collect water, 2 to collect food. Well, actually, really 4 is the bare minimum. Because we need 1 to run the fermenter to actually handle that food. Okay, they are delivering goods to our district. That's nice. Okay. Yeah, we just need to get some haulers employed and get things to start moving. Man, this water source is so slow. Oh well, that's fine, I suppose. can turn off obtain on these now. Okay, I can set what goods I want to import. Planks and logs I want to import. Berries I want to import for now. Kohlrabi I want to import for now. Mangrove I do not want to import. Okay, District 2. I really don't want you to import food here, honestly. Okay. Import water only if we need it. Yeah. Okay. It's not really important that we do that, but it'll be fine. Our local population has already climbed to 5, so that's good. 2 of them are too young to work, but that'll change in a little bit. Meanwhile, globally, we have way too few workers. Okay. Yeah. It'll take a little while for that to all manage itself. Just a little while. We need to get some more beaver workers. I could probably go ahead and import a few more, but I don't want to, like, okay, how many do we have working here in this district? We have 15 empty jobs, which means we only have 3 builders. Yeah. This place needs a few more beavers. How are we doing on food in this district? It's not bad, actually. Okay. Not amazing. But we're definitely not starving anybody right now. Ugh. Okay. Average well-being over here is 11. Okay. We could definitely bump that up some more. Here. When's the next bonus kick in? Next life expectancy tier is at well-being 17. Okay. We can make some minor movements in that direction. Put a few decorations in place. Is there anything else cheap we can build that would? Not really. Okay. Oh, I should put in beaver showers. I didn't build any at the previous outpost, so because I didn't have didn't have a good spot for them. Whereas over here, got a pretty decent spot. And I should probably go ahead and add some over here now that I've solved a lot of our contamination issues and such like. Yeah. Okay. They won't be built for a long time. There's a bunch of things that get built in this district still, and we, as of yet, still do not have any construction workers here. Although beaver population has gone up to 6. 4 adults working, which means we have somebody running the fermenter. There are still some things getting built because they're close enough to the edge of the other district that workers are willing to walk over here to build things. That's how we got this shrub. Okay. Okay. Most of this stuff just needs to be torn down and rebuilt from scratch. Ideally, I want to get this district. Okay, before we start worrying about the original district and getting it fixed, I'm going to keep building up the new district to make it so that we have enough food production here that we can easily supply both districts completely from this district. So once the new district is producing all of our food, then I'm going to go back to the old district. I'm going to remove its food production. And we're going to start rebuilding it bit by bit. Basically, we're going to rebuild all of the beaver accommodations. We're going to rebuild the industry, build it much bigger. So you have proper industry over there. Speaking of proper industry, I need to finish working on our power. It looks like that's mostly done, actually. Very good. We just need to put the large water wheel in. Right there. That should give us another large chunk of power production. $791 horsepower, and this one should provide the same. Ugh. Pretty decent. We're up to 5 adult beavers working here. We're starting to staff a second farmhouse, which should increase our production of food significantly. Okay. Hopefully we get some beavers assigned to the district crossing soon. Drought! Yay! Everybody loves a good drought. Not really. Yeah. How many levels below ground is this? Down there quite a few. I really need to start building down into here so I can seal some of these paths. I don't think there's any reason why I'd want water flowing over this way. Like, there is some weird little tunnels over there that might be useful for something someday, but I think at this point just sealing that is probably a perfectly fine thing to do. I would almost prefer to seal this entrance right here, but that's harder to do, so. Yeah. Alright. We currently do not have the beaver power to do this. But I can start planning anyway. And eventually, once this district has enough construction beavers available, that they finish all the jobs around the base and start branching out to this area, well, at that point, I want to have a spiral staircase. So let's go ahead and designate that. It's a quite tall staircase. It's not going to be cheap or fast to construct. Okay. And that'll get us down to here. Okay. In an ideal world, we'd get some beavers all the way down there and seal off that bad water. And we also seal off this passage so that other contaminants from that direction don't come this way. And then I suppose that is effectively that. And if we built that, that would cause water to flow up around that staircase and start flowing out up here. Nice, clean, safe, beaver-friendly water. And at that point, we can divert that water anywhere we want. Namely, we'll probably divert it through the mountain over to here. Because naturally, it would fall into here and flow out this way and then off the map, which is not really what we want to happen. Yeah. Just leave that alone for now, actually. We need more workers here. How many workers do we have in this place? It looks like we have 8 adults, finally. Okay, 6 of them are working there. 7th is working here, 8th are working there. Alright, you are a low priority job. Well, it'd be really nice if they went to work at the district crossing instead of working at these places, but I'm not going to complain. Not right now, anyway. I could adjust job priorities a little bit more, but I think I'm just going to pause these two fermenters for now. Okay, there we go. Now they're working at the district crossing. Okay, why are you starving? There's plenty of food available, isn't there? Yes, there is. There's literal tons of it. Go eat, you idiot. Okay. Anyway. Well, once that's all built, that should significantly increase our water flow. What's at the bottom of this hole again? Oh, yeah, that's right. And since we're sealing this off, this should stop contaminating from that direction. Which means that the only source of contamination for this water should be coming in from here. Which means... yeah, technically we could build a stairs down into that hole. It would be cheaper and easier than the one over here. And then just wait for a drought and go seal up underneath there. We'd still have beavers wading through contaminated water if you did that though, and yeah. This is not really better or easier, it's just different, I guess. Okay, so we're exporting food from here, and water apparently. Interesting. We definitely don't need to do that. At least not that way. Speaking of water, let's let through a slug of water. So that we don't lose our crops. Okay. I need to get some automation going. Depth sensor is pretty cheap, actually. If we put that there, threshold 0.3. Okay, prioritize that, please. And then you... automate. There we go. Depth sensor 1. Okay. Rename you. I can't really automate these double floodgates the same way. We need different dials and controls for that. Okay. I do want this to be a little higher. We'll run it at 0.50. All right. Are there any other immediately obvious changes I'd want to make that I could easily automate with a depth sensor? I don't think so. The next thing I want to automate requires contamination sensor, and that requires things I haven't built yet. Also, these crops aren't going to be very happy. Okay, the water's arriving in time. Actually, we could automate this in the same way. I'd have to import the building materials required. So technically, this should, once they build the stuff at the bottom of this hole, this should be the only place that that water source can exit from, which means that if I were to build basically a water tower around this, I could get water as high as I wanted. Which would be convenient in a lot of ways. It wouldn't run during droughts, though. So trying to do that, get water really high up to make more power would be a bad idea because it wouldn't power all the time. Whereas this, we can make this run all the time eventually. It just requires me to engage in a little bit more. We need to get a wood workshop, and we need to get a, oh, where's that? A smelter. Which I want to do as soon as I can get rid of some of this crap to make room. Which we'll be able to do as soon as we can export more food. We are already exporting food. So that's good. It looks like we're almost out of free jobs on this side. And they are starting to build stuff. So that's a good sign. Once we get someone working at the forester, that'll handle our local supplies of stuff over here. Wait, I thought I built this forester specifically so it reached to the very edge over there. Maybe not. Oh well. You are berry gatherers. There's our mangrove gatherer. Whenever we someday get mangroves planted. Looks like we're short on logs. We do have logs waiting to be delivered. Okay. Okay. You know, you could do some interesting stuff with gravity batteries and water pumps by having pools way up on top of something and then pump water up into the pool. And then have there be no outlet for the pool and turn the pump on and off with a water level sensor. So that only when the water in the pool evaporates a little bit does it allow more to be pumped up. And then just put some kind of relatively small constant power supply hooked up to the system with some gravity batteries. Enough so that it's enough to run the pump, but obviously not full time. So that you have to determine through trial and error how much power you would need. And it'd have to be matched to the evaporation rate, how large the pool is, all that stuff. With a high evaporation rate, obviously wouldn't work very well, but for a mid-sized pool that doesn't evaporate very quickly, you could use a relatively small power source to keep it topped up. Because it would charge the gravity battery whenever the pump isn't actively running, and then the pump basically would just draw off the gravity battery when it... Because pumps are very high power draw. Just not all the time. Anyway, be an interesting idea. So what's at the bottom of this hole again? Oh, that leads to this. Okay, does it lead to anywhere else? To this, which leads directly to that. So technically, when I get this blocked off, I might be able to get beavers over here to block this off. And then that would cause this water to run up through here, which would eventually lead to it running up through here. I don't think that goes anywhere else. Yeah, it goes out here. But all I'd have to do is put a flow limiter on this to just keep a little bit trickling out instead of it running out constantly. And we could get some serious pressure going and fill this whole area up here. And then I'd be able to basically use it as a reservoir that then eventually flows off the map way over here. Which would be probably way better than the current system, which is just having it dumped into a random ass channel. And what's more, whatever we let out through the limiter under the mountain here and through this channel would then flow into the main reservoir, which would then flow out here, and that's probably actually a high priority project then, once I have the capabilities to do so, is to block this so it flows upward. Okay. That'd be kind of fun to work around, I think. What would I need for that? We would need a throttling valve. No, probably a fill valve. Yeah, fill valve. Set to the right water level to keep this full. And slightly overflowing out here, maybe. Or maybe a combination of the two. some throttling valves that can be turned on and off, and a fill valve just to keep the level above a certain amount during droughts. Because you'd have the throttling valves turn off during a drought, and you'd have the fill valve turn on during a drought, or on all the time. That way, when it's not a drought, you would have flow, and when it is a drought, you just keep it stagnant but full. Or, you know, not full, but not empty either. That's an idea. Okay, how are we doing for workers here? We have 3 unemployed. 2 of them are at this farmer's house. Or not. 3 empty jobs. There we go. Okay, 1 gatherer flag is set. We are getting berries planted. Okay. So we've got a gatherer's flag. And 2 farmers not working. Okay. That's good. Okay, that's quite nice actually. Our food exports here are quite inefficient. But it is working in that we have a good amount of that food stored now. And I'm pretty sure that this fermenter is not enough to take care of that. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and delete this fermenter. And I'm going to delete this farmhouse. And I'm going to remove the planting orders for these. And order them destroyed. Because we don't need that shit there anymore. We're importing that particular crop. And I want this space free for industrial construction. More importantly, I want those workers freed up for industrial construction and to run the hauling post here. Okay. Okay. We're out of beds. We don't have enough workers sleeping. This may or may not work. It will work. Okay, good. Okay, we need more housing. Where should I put this? Let's put it right there for now. Now, we're running a little low on water, which means we need a second water pump. No problem. Just build one. Okay. That solves a lot of our problems. This floodgate can be built as soon as they finish building those stairs, which will be handy. We have a decent food supply here, and lots of raw materials. I'm going to go ahead and unpause these fermenters. And that'll give us... Okay, we still have 3 jobs left to fill. Once this row house is done, that should give us enough housing. Bad tide is on the way. That's fine. We can handle that, no problem. Oh, you know what? They're not going to be able to build this from the top. I forgot they can't do that. Okay. Need a different plan to get down there then. Well, not too different. I'd still kind of like this here. But all we need to do is go down this. Like, obviously that's nasty. Bad water. So we'll have to wait for a drought to do that. Yeah. But we can start building. They should be able to build down there. Yeah, okay, they can build that. Obviously, that's a really bad build environment, but that little bit of building shouldn't hurt anybody. Okay. Close that. Open that. Boom. No reservoir contamination. All right, lovely. Absolutely lovely. How are we doing on... Okay, we have 5 empty jobs, which is good. Because that means the hauler's post is half-staffed. I need to do something about getting a shorter path between the district crossing in the center. Right now it's kind of bad. Yeah. Tubeway is the right solution. But we don't have the resources yet. All I need to do is build... Okay, we need to go ahead and get a smelter built. We'll put in a temporary smelter, because we need one of these quite badly at this point. And then... industrial pile. Boom. Actually, no. Cancel that. You... change material to metal blocks. Okay. I should have done that a long time ago, but... various things conspired to keep me from doing so. Okay. See if we can improve our exports a little bit. Get them to actually haul this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and change our orders here. I would like them to only import water if needed. So they stop doing that. And then leave the rest of this alone as far as food. Yeah, okay. I want to get rid of all these little storages. Because we could build one large storage and be, or medium storage and be almost caught up with their complete capacity. For now, it's not necessary or even particularly useful, so we'll leave it alone. 1.4 days of drought left. Okay, we'll probably have enough water, we won't have to do anything special. Well, it's not actually drought, it's bad tide. Bad tide's better than drought. Because it means we still get power. And power means things still run. Speaking of running, we don't have any metal blocks produced yet. It doesn't look like. Now we do. Okay, metal blocks are available. That means that we should get a contamination sensor. And we can go ahead and put that Right there. Make that a little top priority. They should import gears and metal blocks because they are set to if needed. But apparently that is not actually going to work. Okay. So we'll have to set those to always import for a little bit at least. Yeah. If it measures greater than 5% contamination, then it should turn on. And then you... Yeah. You automate seep contamination. Off height 0, on height 1. You... We'll leave that one alone for now. Because it's not yet finished. It almost is finished. We just need 4 more metal blocks. Okay, we have enough metal blocks in stock now. And it's finished. Okay, you automate seep contamination. It's currently in the off state. At off state, open, on, or off state close, on state open. Okay, so we should have automated bad tide handling now. Lovely. Okay. We have 2 jobs that don't have workers. That would be this farmhouse. It's deliberately set up that way. Okay, manage distribution. Turn off gears and metal blocks. We don't need them right now. I don't want them all getting stuck in there. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to do anything during a drought. Except occasionally let water through. Which is not actually something that I am overly concerned about at the moment. Bad tide should be automated. We have to watch that to make sure it actually works. Looks like we're going to get our first mangrove harvest soon. The local berries are going to start producing soon. Okay. Yeah. It looks like we've solved our food problem, more or less. I'm not sure if we're importing it fast enough. We might need more workers handling imports. But now that we have metal blocks on the way, we can actually start producing, or start building, tubeway stations. Which will not be cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but we can put a station over here and another station over here somewhere and run a tubeway around the outside on the upper level and get beavers from the district entrance to where we're going to build the new storage area pretty quickly. Also, how are we doing on population here? We have 6 free jobs. Okay, that's plenty. Things are going well there. Yeah. I think that should probably be our next major project after we get a few more metal blocks stockpiled. Get tubeways set up so that we can move to and from the... Oh, damn it. I got contaminated beavers because I'm building this. Speaking of which, is that actually done? It looks like it. Yep, it sure is. Oh, they built that too. Okay, I forgot to pause that. I was going to make it so they wouldn't build that. Okay, actually, that is probably a good thing. I mean, it's a bad thing we got contaminated beavers because of it. But now this is sealed off. Where is that draining? It did fill that hole up a lot more. But I think there was a drain over here somewhere, wasn't there? Uh-oh. Oh, it's draining out over here, that's right. No, it's draining out over here. Wherever this stuff's flowing to. So, out up here. Basically, it's welling up out of this hole and going down into that one. Okay. Okay. But next time a drought happens, we need to send beavers down here to build over there. I could probably just accept the fact that we're going to end up with some contaminated beavers and just get over there right now. But I don't think that's a good idea. Anyway, it is 10:51. So I think I'm going to go ahead and save the game here. And we can continue that tomorrow. Yeah. We managed to make it through a few minor beaver crises today. Get a second district going with some much larger farming setups. Hopefully, food problems are behind us for at least a little while longer. And with the new farming setup, we can start shipping larger amounts of food to the other district to hopefully tear out most of its farming and start rebuilding that district to be a little more industrially focused and also just be better laid out in general. Like the old one was fine for when it was built, but we could definitely make it better now. But anyway, that's for tomorrow. Thursday, we have some XCOM, Enemy Within. Friday, be some good old EDF, where we will continue bashing our heads into one of the hardest missions in the game. And then Saturday and Sunday will probably be Valheim. Got more stuff we need to do to the new base. Although it's coming along quite nicely, and it won't be much longer before we're done with it, hopefully. Yeah. Last time we were in the middle of building the new smithy and crafting building. Still got a good bit of work to do to that. And then, of course, Monday will be some crab champions. And then next Tuesday, will probably be more beaver. But anyway. Is anyone doing anything interesting tonight? Looks like Abby's playing Helldivers. Okay. Sure, let's raid Abby, why not? Yeah. Hopefully, I see you all back here tomorrow for more beavery shenaniganry. And I will see you all later. Good night. And goodbye.